Good afternoon, everyone. It's Weather United, and in today's video, we are keeping an eye on the models for a pretty significant, substantial, severe weather event that could develop by Friday into Saturday, producing the threat for large hail, damaging winds, and several tornadoes. If you're new and you like detailed weather updates, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and sharing this video with their family and friends on social media. So we're going to time this out on the Pivotal Weather website. Take a look at your rainfall rate per hour in inches and looking at where the severest weather is going to be and what are the ingredients going to be coming together for this particular significant severe weather event. So this is a look at Friday morning, November the 4th. Yes, the 4th day of November, and yeah, we're going to be talking about severe weather in this video, and it's very odd for me to say that because we don't typically see substantial events like this, but this one in particular looks to be just that. So there's a look at some of the rainfall, some prefrontal stuff that could develop over the Oklahoma region, over, say, portions there of central Kansas, but it's going to get more organized by Friday afternoon. As you can see, some of the storms there in western Texas. I know it's really hard to see, but here it is. Some of the showers and thunderstorms popping off there, and some of the showers and thunderstorms here really flaring up over northwestern Oklahoma, in central and southeastern Kansas. And again, some of these could have semi-discrete supercells, so we could be talking about the threat for large hail, gusty winds, and maybe a couple of tornadoes, but it's really into Saturday when things get energized here. So this is a look at Friday night into Saturday early morning, right around, say, 3 or 4 in the morning. And look at the strength of this, very strong. We have an arcing like band cold front that is going to be racing rapidly eastward here over central Texas, so approaching the Dallas-Fort Worth area by early Saturday morning. That's what the European model thinks as of this afternoon. And we can see a warm front is going to be draped right over, or more likely a stationary front over Kansas and even into Iowa. And this is going to be the threat that's going to produce substantial wind damage. We could be looking at 70 plus mile an hour winds on this, maybe even getting close to 80 miles an hour with a lot of lightning. We could see tornadoes. We could see some large hail along to go with that. And then by early Saturday morning, it moves into Dallas-Fort Worth. So when you're waking up earlier, if you're like a late sleeper, like you like to wake up late, you're going to see showers and thunderstorms. You'll be woken up by that. And then in Oklahoma City really getting pounded with that. And then that system is going to be moving into the Great Lakes. Look at that system there, 984 millibars. Very classic comma-shaped storm here with a very intense cold front, very strong jet max on top of this. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of the severest weather even extends all the way into, say, portions there of southern portion of Illinois, and might even get into Indiana, just depending on the dynamics. A lot of forcing on this. Very strong negatively tilted trough is going to be really progressing over this region, and then it exits. That front really kind of falls apart. So it's going to be looking pretty tough, especially for Friday late afternoon, all the way into early Saturday morning, perhaps even into early Saturday afternoon. This thing is going to be moving fast. It's going to be vicious. It's going to have a lot of energy with it. So now let's take a look at Weather Bell here, and let's look at the lightning forecast, because you all are probably curious, how much lightning is this going to produce, right? Thunder roars, please go indoors is the kind of the nursery rhyme here. Okay, so Friday afternoon, lots of lightning here. All these purple colors, pink colors indicate a lot of lightning strikes per hour. Yeah, per hour, quite a bit is going to be going on here over western Texas, over western Oklahoma, in a narrow corridor right along that convergence zone where cold air meets warm, moist air. That's the front, and that's going to trigger or be the triggering point for these storms. So by Saturday early morning, a lot of lightning here. And notice how this is not a solid, intense line. This is kind of broken up. We have a few intense lightning cells kind of broken up along the front. So we could see semi-discrete storms along the boundary as this kind of moves right through the area. And this continues all the way into Saturday afternoon, and then you can see it does break up. But notice here, we do have a couple of lightning strike coverages over the northwestern Indiana area. So there could be a marginal risk here for severe weather, and that I mean the threat for damaging winds will likely be persuade as that moves through, okay? Because we're not going to see a lot in the way of moisture advection into that area. It's going to be the air is going to be drier. It's only going to be down here where we're really going to have to watch for the severest weather. Okay, let's move on. Take a look at our dew point forecast, and we can see dew points really high up here. Look at this, all the way into Kansas. We're talking spring like dew points in the mid 60s. So a lot of moisture advection here, part of a surface flow and a low level jet that's going to help advect that moisture northward ahead of the system. And we can see how this really all shapes up. Again, most of the moisture is going to be right in this narrow corridor. And so wherever you have the most moisture, enough lift, enough buoyancy, enough daytime heating, we're going to have a very unstable atmosphere. And the wind shear, the vicious amount of that is going to compensate for what we have here. So even so we don't have a lot of high instability, the shear is going to be substantial. I mean, we're talking very high amounts of directional and unidirectional wind profiles favoring curved hodographs. That means storm structures could get organized. We could see tornadoes out of this, and that continues all the way into Saturday. And now taking a look at those winds. So I want you all to listen to me very carefully as far as these winds go. We're not just looking at winds because there's going to be wind damage with non-thunderstorms, but we're taking a look at this because winds do shift. They are going to substantially veer back with height. Okay, and so we get curvature to those hodographs, and when we get that, you can think of a right-moving supercell. You get that inflow coming out of the southeast into these storms, and then you get southwesterly flow helping to put that updraft or kind of separate or tilt that updraft enough for these storms. And so therefore, we're likely to see organized convection with some of the more intense storms. Depends exactly how this will all evolve on the CAMS guidance, which is the convective allowing models. Okay, so let's go right to here. So by 03Z Saturday, November the 5th, so this is Friday afternoon, take note, this is a southeasterly wind, folks. This is not your southerly wind. So this is really intense with winds 20 to maybe 25 to 35, maybe close to 40 miles an hour. When you take a look at the low-level jet, look at this. Winds at the low levels at about 5,000 feet, anywhere between, say, 45 to 55 knots. That is pretty strong at 5,000 feet, and it's more out of the south. So we went from seeing a southeasterly wind, kind of like this, seeing more of a wind in the low levels out of this direction, more out of the south. Okay, and then when we take a look at our mid levels or our upper levels, you can see where the trough is going to be. Let me fast forward this. So there it is. You can see the flow is going to be in this general direction. So can you believe that? We have literally almost a 90 degree critical angle kind of environment here, and that will really favorable, almost pristine conditions for organized supercells. That could be long tracked, fast moving, you bet. And again, we could see a few tornadoes. Some of them could be strong. I don't want to get ahead of myself on that. Very hard to predict individual storm this far out, but the environment is suitable for a very organized, significant severe weather event. I'm not calling it an outbreak. It's too soon to say, but look at this trough. By Saturday early morning, this thing is roaring. Look at the low or mid-level wind profiles, anywhere between 100 to 125 knots over northern Texas, central and southern central Oklahoma. That is pretty significant. And when I mean significant, we take a look at our low-level winds nearly at the same time. Let's actually go back to 12Z Saturday. That's perfect. There we go. We can see, look at these low-level winds. Anywhere between, say, 55 to 70 knots. That is very strong, and that's what really concerns me because we have the trough. This is going to be negatively tilted here. It's going to be neutrally tilted when it ejects off the New Mexico plateau, and then it gets into Texas, and then it becomes more negatively tilted. So we have a lot of baroclinic ascent here. We have a lot of forcing right along this, and so that is going to really facilitate severe weather in this area. And by any standards, I'll tell you, the SPC is perfectly correct. We have a day 5 slight risk, a 15% chance for severe weather from northern Texas, the panhandle, into western panhandle of Oklahoma, into central and southwestern portion of Kansas City. Or not Kansas City, but Kansas, the state there. Let's go into day 6. This is where the severe weather shifts a little further south in the same areas. So we have now central and southern Texas and central and western Oklahoma in hand here with a 15% chance of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center. And it would not be surprising in later outlooks, especially, I bet, on day 4, they're probably going to pull a 30% chance for severe weather, which is a category higher than the 15 yellow that we're seeing. It'd be my guess, it may be even in the next outlook by tomorrow morning, that they may pull the trigger on a 30% the alias area here on the map. So something that we really got to be aware of going forward. Even so, it may not be in your mind yet because we got Halloween coming up tomorrow, and everyone's going to have Halloween type events, parties and stuff, but come on, this needs to be taken a little seriously. We need to focus on the weather too, not just on Halloween, okay? I know, I can't control your guys' minds. I can't tell you what to do, right? But all I can say is let's be weather aware still, even so we're having a lot of fun doing Halloween festivities and doing some carnival stuff. All right, I'm helping out at one tomorrow myself, and so I won't have a video out tomorrow, but I will have a video out on Tuesday. For more on this, please consider subscribing, everybody. You guys are awesome. God bless you all that are able to tune into this video, and for me to present you all my latest thinking of what I see on the models, because again, this is concerning me quite a bit with that trough, okay? So share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, folks. Peace!